everybody, let me talk in this video about one of most interesting feature in Android, that name is deprecated. So what we mean by deprecated? First of all, Android is one of the very fast growing software. So because Android Studio is growing too fast, so they did a lot of changes. So what I mean by that? I mean by that, for example, this faction, name it on a click. This faction, when they come out with next version, maybe they want to change the format of this faction. When they change for this format for this faction in such a way, they don't want to support the previous one, this name is deprecated. So whenever you have a code and there is RSA, this code is deprecated, that means this code is no longer supported in the future versions. So if you have, for example, a specific feature for contact with SMS, or reading SMS, so this it's written in some way. So this way allow you to read SMS, like for example in version 6. In version 7 they told you, hey, this feature is deprecated, please use the new one. So if you don't use the new one in version 7, that's totally okay. It will work. But when they come up with version 8, they totally no longer support it. So what we mean exactly by word deprecated, that means this statement or this faction will no longer supported by Google. So when they do deprecate for the faction, no longer support, there is no update, and maybe this code will not work in future version. So I will give you a quick example that we will see it in our project, that this one for the array. So if you go to pop, you will see this one. And this one we did access to main activity, then we did set time. If you see set time, we take tp.getHour and tp.getMinute. These two function, if you just look through it, you say car require API version 23. That means this code only working on version 23 and after. So you have to know, if you run this app on device that run on OS less than 23, this code will not work and it will crash automatically. So how I do fix that? I say, okay, because this one only work on 23 and after, I would check the version of the device. I would say if integer in this way, if, then you open a bracket, you say integer for the version. So how I could get the device version? Really easy, just I write bold dot, then I would say bold dot version in this way, everything is capital, dot version dot SDK, then you say, oh, you write directly SDK in it. SDK also deprecated. If you see when something is deprecated, they put line on it. If you see this one is deprecated, they now only use this one. So I would say if the version is greater than or equal to 23, please run this code. So now your code will never crash, because this line of code will only execute on the devices that have operating system 23 and after. So that's totally okay. But wait a minute, what if I want to run this app on device with the previous version? So when he come here, he will see this one, he will not execute this one, so he will not pass the time. So I have to work also with the previous version. So how I could work with the previous version? I would say else. There should be a function that was working in the previous version. I would say ma dot set time, or set time in this way. Hopefully I'm writing in correct way. Set time. He asked me for two parameter. Okay, I would say tp dot I want to get the hour. If you see, there is a function named get current hour, but if you see there is a line on it, that means this deprecated. But I would use it because it deprecated in 23. In 23 I will use this one, while before that I will use this one. I don't have any problem. Also I will say tp dot get current minute. So totally now you are okay. Now if the device have operating system 23 and after, he will directly go and run this code. He will get by this code get an hour, and by this code get a minute. If the device have operating system in the previous version less than 23, he will use this function. Even this two function is deprecated, but this is not get minute, it should be get current minute, sorry. So even if these two functions are deprecated in US version, but it only work on on previous version. So wait a minute, what if I remove this line? What will happen? This code will run only on devices have operating system less than 23. Did you get it? If I just add only this line, this code will run only on devices have operating system greater than 23. If I return both of them, that means this one will run on 23 and after, and this one will run on a previous version. So now what's the advice? Whenever you write code and you see this line on it, that means this code is deprecated. So make sure you either replace it with a new code if they allow you to replace it. In some function they allow you to replace the code with a new one, and the new one will work on a new version and a previous version. But some functions, no. You have to write two codes separately. So if you see this one, he give you all that. He say only this one only work on a 23. So make sure you just surround this code by greater than or equal 23 or maybe 24 or whatever. So did you get 2 point? Again, finally, if you have any code, you see this code is deprecated, so make sure you go and Google the new one. You say, okay, get function is deprecated. What's the new one? He will tell you the new one. If you write the new one and you get notification like this one, make sure you write this line before it. Then you say else, you write this one. Otherwise, if you don't get notification, for example, if there is no alert, that means this function could work with the new and the previous version, so totally use the new one. But now I have alert, that means okay, the new I have written and the previous one. Here we done, and I hope you understand it well. Thank you very much and see you next.